Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I am here to give you a review of the Netflix original movie, Blood Red Sky. Now, Blood Red Sky is essentially, if I had to give it a roundabout, summary explanation of what this movie's about to give you an indication if you're going to be down for it, vampires on a plane. Simple. If you've never thought about that, that's what this movie is. Now, to be fair, these aren't traditional Dracula, old school vampires. This is more the 30 Days a Night vampires, the more animal vampires, the vampires who are more like, more animal than thinking type vampires. So, bald, pale skin, eyes, don't look very human. They look humanoid, but not very human vampires. So, that already gives it a different vibe. But, so the movie itself, there's a bit more complications with it, but so the movie is about this woman, this woman and her son trying to get on a plane in Russia to New York. Now the woman is sweating, she's kind of, she looks normal as far as we can tell. She's kind of sweating. She's kind of looks kind of sickly in the way she behaves and stuff. She kind of moves around like a crackhead, like someone who's going through withdrawals. It's kind of the way she kind of moves. And she's talking on the phone with someone. You never meet this person, by the way, which I'll get into later. She's talking on the phone with someone. She's asking this person, yeah, we're going to meet in New York for, and how long's your flight? The person's asking them when they get on the flight. And it's clearly, they set it up that she has a type of disease and she's going to New York to get tested on by somebody she's been talking to. And, seems normal. She's got this son with her. This son, he's about 9 years old, something like that. He's a precocious kid. He's a very clever kid. He's a very intelligent kid. And he understands what's going on with his mom. His mom's already talked about what she's dealing with, the disease she's dealing with. They get on the plane, everything's going fine, the kid's making friends, but once they get on the plane, you meet a bunch of types. You meet the beautiful blonde stewardess who wants to hook up with one of the pilots. You meet the rich guy, the rich stockbroker guy who's just he just cares about, who's kind of slimy and hitting on a stewardess and all this other stuff. He thinks his money can just allow him to do whatever he wants. And you got the annoying older couple. You got the guy with attitude. There are a bunch of types on the plane once you get on the plane. Or even a guy who we think is a gay stewardess, flamboyantly gay stewardess, but turns out he isn't. So everything's going fine. The plane takes off and it gets hijacked by terrorists. They kill the air the air marshal? Yeah, they kill the air marshals. They fucking take over the plane. They hold everybody hostage. They kill the actual pilot, because it turns out the co-pilot is in on this, and he kills the actual pilot. So this plan is going on like a sitch. They're taking over the plane. You think this is crazy. And meanwhile, the woman's on the plane with her son. She's like, what the fuck? What's the chances of this plane ride, that I need this ride to get to New York, to get this treatment, and it gets hijacked by a terrorist group? But twist comes in. This isn't an actual terrorist group. This is a group that was hired by someone else, an anonymous source that we never meet. We just hear her voice. We don't know for sure for what. We're not totally, completely sure why they hijacked the plane. But they hijacked the plane to crash it, either crash it into something, or because they set it up early on in the movie that once they took over the plane, they found the only Islamic people on the plane. And got them to read off the traditional demands of a terrorist organization. Got them to read that off into the phone so they could send it out to the different so they could send that out so that way governments over the world will know that this plane's taken over by terrorists and that it might be dangerous. So clearly the whole operation is to make it seem like this is a terrorist attack on this plane, either do something to the stock market or something. We never really find out. And they were supposed to jump out the back of the plane. The group of guys, 5 guys, supposed to jump out the back of the plane. Clearly, they're not actual. It kind of honestly, like in the beginning when they first started showing up, and I'm like, so they're terrorists? They don't seem like terrorists because it's like 3 white dudes and a black guy. There's 3 white guys and a black guy. Two of of the guys are American. The big black guy's American, and the leader's American. So I was like, I don't know if these are terrorists. That's a very interesting collection of people to be terrorists. But then, like I said, it turns out, no, they're not really terrorists, so to speak. They're just dudes who are hired to crash this plane to make it look like terrorists, to affect, I don't know, like I said, I don't know, the stock market or something, but to affect something, to maybe affect the airline, who knows, but that was their jobs. But what they didn't account for is the woman, who turns out that woman's disease is she's a vampire. Now, there's one of the members of the group of fake terrorist is kind of a psychopath. I mean, he is, the moment the twist happens, he murders people unnecessarily, he stabs a guy to death and he's covered in blood, he threatens to kill certain people for no reason, he's at people, and at a certain point, the kid in the movie, the lead actress is the woman's kid, like I said, he's smart and he's clever, but he's a little jumpy. He's a little too smart, because he's that kid who's like, I have an idea, and it's a good idea what he's doing, but he does it in such a because he's a kid, in a non-subtle way, and it ended up leading to the mom getting shot. And of course, they don't know she's a vampire, so when she gets shot and hits the ground, she looks dead. They cover her up, they close the curtains, and they're like, okay, we're gonna not think about that till she disappeared, got into the fucking got into the cargo where all the fucking dogs were, and started eating dogs to heal herself. Next, a lot of shit happens after that. She starts kind of picking them off. Eventually, they discover what she is, and that she's a vampire. And once they discover that she was a vampire, things just take a crazy turn after that. First of all, she kills the leader, and the fucking crazy dude takes her blood and makes himself a vampire. It gets nuts after that. Over the course of the movie, you do kind of find out how she became a vampire and whatnot. But really, like, it's not quite a horror movie, and it's not quite an action movie. Because it's never quite scary enough to be really a horror movie, and there's never quite enough action for it to be considered honestly, it's more of a thriller. It's more of a thriller that happens to have vampires in it. Like, don't get me wrong, some of the designs and some of the imagery of the vampires and whatnot, what they look like, it's kind of scary. But like I said, it's not enough scares for that, because for a long time she's the only vampire down there. The tail end of this movie, there's a lot more vampires. So if it was like that the whole time, maybe it could have been, maybe like a Train to Busan kind of thing. But it's not. It never really escalates to that until the last 30 minutes, till like the last 20 minutes of the movie. So honestly, I don't really know what to even think about this movie. It's not quite horror enough. It's not quite action enough. This movie's it was a breeze of movie. It's about like an hour and about 50 minutes, maybe an hour and 40 something minutes. It's a breeze of a movie. It passes by quickly. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed watching it. The premise of it was different. It's not something I've seen before like this. So I'd probably give it a solid 6, It's nothing great. It's nothing that is mind blowing, but it's a solid little movie. I had issues with the movie, though. First of all, like I said, it never really picked a lane to really dive into, which kind of left the movie just feeling like empty space. It's not empty space. It just kind of left the movie feeling like I'm not scared, and this action isn't, and it's not focused on the action, and there's not enough, it's not even like a monster thing, because the monster is the good character. So I'm like, it was like, you know what I mean? It was like, okay, well, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about this, in terms of that. But more than that is that the hint that vampires are just a common, not a common thing, but a thing in Russia. And these vampires turn you pretty quick. Like once you're bit by a vampire, no matter where you're bit, at least as far as what they showed in this, you turn within minutes. And minutes of being bitten. It's not quite 24 days later, but it's up there. It's close, because 24 days later, you get scratched or clawed, you turn immediately. And it's not quite that quickly, but it's pretty quick. Minutes. She bit someone, and they started turning almost immediately after their bodies hit the floor. So, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But like I said, it's pretty bad, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But if that's the case, then this virus, vampiric virus, should be spread very far and very wide. I mean, granted, I guess maybe you could say since their animalistic side takes over, they can't like not know to, because the sunlight still kills them damn near instantly. So maybe they just didn't know not to be in the sunlight. It's hard to really tell, but I can tell you one thing for certain, which is, you know, it seems like the way they set it up, it doesn't logically make sense that more people would know about these vampires. Also, they never answered the question of who she was talking to. Could this guy, like, where she was going? Like they set that up early, and I'm thinking if she's gonna reach that point at the very least, she's gonna reach that point at the end. You never find out why those guys were hired and who the hell they were talking to. You never even find out why they crashed the plane to begin with. There's a lot of unanswered questions that were just kind of dropped. There's a lot of story stuff that was just kind of, you know, seemed like set up for something that's not gonna happen. And like I said, it did make a little logical sense that if vampires are that common of a thing, like they kind of made it seem in Russia, that it wouldn't be a more widespread thing. In the end, it was just kind of like okay, that was fine. I had a decent enough time. I got enough entertainment out of the movie to not be angry at it, and it wasn't long enough for me to really be to have any stronger feelings one way or the other. So in the end, I was just left with the okay movie. I'd give this movie Blood Red Sky, I'd give it a 6. It's a decent little Netflix movie, but it's nothing special. It's nothing like super special, but I'd give it a 6 for the fact that it wasn't long. I did have fun watching it. It is a premise I haven't really seen before. It's a nice little, I like their vampires. I like the idea of their vampires. There are some cool sequences in it, and I didn't hate any of the actors in it. Like there wasn't no, like the child kind of bothered the fuck out of me, but other than the child, most of the actors were fine. I'd give this a 6. I give it a 6. Nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please do like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.